Who's actually going to get the most out of the dreame Aqua10 Ultra Roller? Who should walk away? And does it justify the price tag for the average homeowner? If you've been scrolling through endless robot vacuum ads and still feel unsure, you're not alone. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The biggest hesitation most people share is the fear of spending a premium on a gadget that ends up sitting idle because it can't handle the everyday messes we actually live with: pet hair, spilled coffee, kids' snack crumbs, and the occasional puddle from a wet mop. I spent a few weeks watching this unit in a real-world apartment, testing it on hardwood, low-pile carpet, and the occasional tile bathroom, just to see whether the hype translates into genuine, hassle-free cleaning. First, let's step back and talk about what you really need from a robot vacuum mop combo. In the past, you either bought a vacuum that sucked up dust and hair but left the floor dull, or a mop that required you to drag a bucket around and constantly wring out a cloth. The promise of a single device that vacuums, mops, and does it all on a schedule is tempting, but the reality is often a compromise. You want strong suction for hair and debris, a water system that doesn't leave streaks, reliable navigation so it doesn't get stuck on furniture legs, and a dock that truly takes over the chores. The Aqua10 tries to hit every point, but the question is whether its trade-offs line up with your daily routine. If you're a pet owner with a mix of short hair and occasional shedding, the 30,000 pascal suction and the zero hair tangles claim are the first things that caught my eye. In practice, the roller head stayed clear throughout a full-day run, even after a morning tumble of cat hair on the living room rug. The suction power was enough to pull the hair into the dustbin without the usual clogs you see on cheaper models. For families with small children, the ever-fresh water system means you don't have to constantly replace a dirty mop pad. The unit pulls fresh water from its tank as it rolls, which helped keep the kitchen tiles looking less streaky after a juice spill. And because the water is sealed inside a separate compartment, you're not spraying a soggy pad around the house, which is a relief for anyone worried about water damage on electronics. On the navigation side, the Better Vision for a Better Clean feature translates into a camera-based mapping system that actually recognized the coffee table legs in my living room. The robot plotted a route around them without repeatedly bumping, something older models with just infrared sensors would have struggled with. That means less time stuck in a corner and more time actually cleaning. The obstacles out of the way claim also proved useful in a hallway with a shoe rack. The unit detected the rack's edge, adjusted its path, and didn't try to climb over it. If you have an open-plan layout with a few low-profile pieces of furniture, you'll appreciate this smoother navigation. Now, who should definitely consider buying the Aqua10? If you have a mix of hard floors and low-pile carpet, want a set-and-forget solution that can handle pet hair, and don't mind a mid-range price point, this is a solid pick. It shines for people who want to keep the floors looking ever clean without dragging out a bucket and mop every evening. The AutoDock feature, leave the dirty work to the dock, actually does a decent job. After a cleaning cycle, the robot returns to its base, empties the dirty water, refills the fresh tank, and even charges itself, so you rarely need to intervene. That level of automation is a real time saver for busy professionals who still want a tidy home. Conversely, there are scenarios where you might skip this model. If your home is carpet heavy, especially with high pile rugs, the mop function won't be very useful and the robot's mop pad can actually get caught on the longer fibers, reducing efficiency. People who live in larger homes, over 2,500 square feet, might find the single dock coverage a bit limiting. You'll either need to move the dock around or accept that some rooms get less frequent attention. Also, the water tank capacity is modest, about 300 milliliters, which means on a larger surface area you'll have to pause the robot to refill. If you're looking for a truly hands-free, all-day mop on a single tank, that's a compromise you'll notice quickly. Finally, if you're on a tight budget, the Aqua10 sits higher than basic vacuums, and the extra mopping hardware may feel like an unnecessary add-on if you already have a decent handheld mop. Let's talk about practical strengths beyond the marketing buzzwords. The separation system for protection means the suction unit and water reservoir are physically isolated, so any accidental spill in the water tank doesn't affect the motor. I accidentally knocked the robot into a small puddle while cleaning up after a pet accident, and it kept running without any hiccup. That kind of durability matters when you're living.